Hi guys, this is Greg at Best Choice Trailers. Today I want to take you for a walk around a Sure-Trac STWCH. That'd be Sure-Trac wedge nose car hauler. Shown here is an 8.5 by 20, 9,900 pound GVW in the white exterior. Everything seen on this trailer is standard equipment. I want to take you for a walk around. We've got other wedge nose Sure-Trac car hauler videos. This is kind of an update to them. Sure-Trac's added quite a bit of features in the last year or two to their trailer. We'll discuss some of those as we go around. So up front, it's going to be a 2 5/16 coupler. New for 2020, they do the setback drop leg jack, 7,000 pound rated. If you've never had a drop leg jack, all you got to do is pull the pin, inner leg drops down, gives you a lot more extension than a single jack. Single jack extension would be just like this. This inner leg can drop out another 1.5 feet or better. No need to carry around a wood block. Gives you a higher lifting capacity, gives you a grease zerk for some added serviceability, gives you a bigger foot down at the bottom. A lot nicer jack. One last benefit, instead of being up front where a tailgate is suspect here, we've seen quite a few tailgates over the years get messed up from an A-frame jack, it is set back. Not only is it set back, it is also bolt-on. So you've got ease of replacement if you ever were to damage it. It's also got a sealed wire harness, and you'll notice that the harness is in a plug terminal or a plug guard. You'll notice the harness not only is a sealed whip, it's a 7-pin blade, but on the blades it's a double post connector, not a single. In the event over time one of those gets moved in or out, got a better chance of getting contact and not having any sort of plug issue. You'll notice also it is a triple tube tongue. Normally car haulers will be a standard A-frame. Sure-Trac on this has added the third cross member. Safety chains. This is one of my little details that I like to mention. You will not find any 10K car hauler I've come across with a set of man-sized safety chains. Normally you get ones that look like they belong on a single axle utility. These look like they belong on an equipment trailer. That is one of many little things Sure-Trac likes to do. They cap the end of the 2x6 tube frame so that you don't get acid rain and your corrosive materials laying in there. Which, speaking of tube frame, this is tubed the whole way back, not a tubular tongue like you often see with a junior I-beam mainframe. While we're also up front, point out a few other key little details. All sealed grommeted wiring ran in frame. There is no harness that's just stapled on the outside. That's sealed, grommeted, routed in frame. Also notice a little heavier trim. Normally you'd get a 1-inch trim. This is a 3-inch. And also normally on the trim you would see trim screws or sheet screws. On these we've got real lags and more of them. You got them 2 high instead of 1. Also notice the trim is mitered. You'd be surprised how many manufacturers are no longer mitering trim just on 90-degree butt cuts. 2-foot stone guard up front, not a 12 or a 16-inch or an 18-inch. It's also a stone guard, not a stone bright. Some are using a thinner material that looks like stone guard, but it's so thin it doesn't even register as a gauge. They call it stone bright. On the V-nose, they've added the anodized trim. That I believe was 2019, gives it a nice clean appearance. Also, I believe for 19 was the bullet LED lights. That is the new modern LED. Puts out little voltage, but you get a nice clean looking light. This is the Pro Series. This for a number of years now has been Sure-Trac's only model. They've gone to only professional grade type trailers. Coming in the next week or two, Sure-Trac is bringing back a mid-grade trailer. They used to do mid-grade years ago. They now have some additional capacity. They will be doing a mid-grade series. So this is the Pro Series. That's the upper end. Look for some other videos coming up of the new mid-grade model. Similar frame structure. It's got a few different details. Anyway, on this Pro Series model, you got a 48-inch side door. Notice that is an RV style door. It's not the strap hinge doors you used to see that are built in-house. This has one single piano hinge, not the strap. Also notice this is an aluminum door holdback, not the plastic ones that you sometimes see that get the UV rays and bust off. That aluminum holdback is forever. Same with the handle. This is a metal handle, not a plastic handle. If you're not familiar with this style door, you've got a lock inside, lock outside. Also standard equipment, side door step wells. Another detail on the door, this is a solid foam-filled door. A lot of doors in the industry are hollow, not much to them. This one's a little bit nicer there. Notice the 1-inch bottom trim, the 3-inch bottom trim, that some use a 1-inch, same 3-inch trim up top. Another pet peeve of mine, I see some manufacturers splice 2 and 3, 4 pieces of trim across the top. This has 1 splice. Trim comes in 16 foot, they use a full piece, just keeps it looking a little bit nicer, neater. If the exterior panels of the trailer also look a little neater and tidier, it's because they are an 030 screwless exterior. Years ago, Sure-Trac used to use a semi-screwless, which would mean screws every 4 foot. About a year ago now, they started doing a full screwless standard. See here, aluminum wheels, they are standard equipment. It's on a 225/75 R15 radial tire. It's a load range D 8-ply tire. It does have easy lube hubs, standard, so behind the cap there, easy serviceability of your axles. This is a spring suspension trailer, that is standard equipment. One thing they use is an oversized equalizer. So instead of a mini equalizer, this has a mobile home style, taller, heavier duty equalizer. So again, those panels are a thicker 030 aluminum. I bring that up because if you've seen a warped or twisted looking trailer that looks like it's got puckers or craters, that would be generally a thinner 024 metal. This is the thicker 030, which helps keep it look smoother, straighter. Also white, a lighter color, stays a little bit nicer because it reflects more of the heat. The tube frame on this resists racking and twisting more so than a junior I-beam, which will also keep this one looking a little bit nicer than some of the other ones we see. This here is a side vent for cross ventilation. So we have 1 rear passenger side, 1 front driver side, designed for the airflow to go cross ventilate, top front, bottom rear. On the rear door, a lot of little details they put into this. They do 4 oversized hinges instead of the what I call the mini half hinges. They do put zerks on each one for some extra serviceability. On the bar lock itself, you'll notice 2 straps instead of most everyone in the industry is going to have 1 here. Your two bolts for securement are wide open, and if somebody wants to, they can come open up and unfasten your door a little easier. This here, your thieves are going to have to work a little harder to gain entry. Another little detail, very few if any squeaks ever on Sure-Trac's hardware. They've got bushings in them. A lot of your Chinese hardware, it squeaks. You got to carry around the Canada WD-40. Another pet peeve of mine would be your hasps. A lot of these are made in China. Sure-Trac on these uses Flexco, made out of Elkhart, Indiana. It's a little heavier hardware, but beyond heavier, it fits. It doesn't squeak. If you use the trailer all the time, it's a pet peeve for me and many of our commercial users. Door handles on these, you'll see 2 aluminum handles. Many in the industry are going to use 1 single plastic. Occasionally you'll see 2 plastic. So you can grab this door from either side, give it a yank to open it up. Also notice the door sill, or the door edge, the perimeter is trimmed out in aluminum. A lot will leave that exposed steel, rusts out over time, just looks unsightly. On the rear door, 5 door bumpers to protect that door. A lot are going to have maybe 3. I've seen some with 2, occasionally 4. This has 5. You also notice the rear hoop on this is going to be anodized aluminum trim. Some will do a color matched. This here just gives it a little bit fancier look. So you got a high output LED light. One more detail on Sure-Trac's door. Generally, it just works. This door here just kind of glides down to the ground. They give it an appropriate number of turns on the spring to get it adjusted just right. A lot of doors we see, some slam down, some never even make it down. So some of the things that we see see while we're checking these units in. Just the fitment tends to be a little better. On the ramp door, we've got a ramp flap extension. It's about 14 to 16 inches. A little bit tighter screw pattern, a little bit heavier hinge on this flap extension to some of the ones that we see on some of the other inventory. 4-foot rear beaver tail. So the header on the door is going to net about 6 inches. So a 6'6" inside height would be about 6 foot. But then the no-show beaver tail gains another 3 3/4 inches, giving you a net through the door of about 6'3 3/4. It is an 8.5 wide trailer that measures outside to outside. You're through the spring assist cable measurement. For those that need that extra width, you're going to run probably just a touch over 7 foot, maybe 7'1". So again, that no-show beaver tail I mentioned. Most of your box trailers are going to have a beaver tail. You can't see it from the outside. It's going to taper on the inside. Sure-Trac's doing 4 D-ring standard on the car hauler trailers. We'll take a peek underneath this trailer and show you one of the little details. They plate them out underneath different than most in the industry. Most will put a piece of flat. Sure-Trac uses a little bit heavier underneath, so we'll get to that in a minute. You also notice the fender boxes on these are a little fancier. They're a gloss powder coat, not a regular acrylic paint. The wall sheeting on these a little bit nicer. It's a sanded. This also has the vertical aluminum H mold, not the Lawan trim strips. Just keeps it a lot cleaner inside the trailer. Above the plywood there, you'll see the cove. They do an aluminum mill finish cove to protect your wiring and give the trailer a finished look. All the wall posts and ceiling posts in Sure-Trac's trailer are made from box tube, not Z-post walls and hat post ceilings, as you'll see in some of your more economical trailers. Standard height again is 6'6" inside. You've got your side door step well and your white finished wall liner. Now over at the entry, you've got a residential style switch on your dome lights. You've got 2 dome lights, roughly front third, back third. Gives you decent light throughout the trailer, gives you convenient access to light as soon as you get in the door. Now above the bows here, you've got what's called thermocool ceiling liner. It's a white liner with a reflective insulation. It gives it a nice look, also gives you a little bit cooler trailer. Above the bows and liner, there's a one-piece aluminum roof. If you're not familiar with a one-piece aluminum roof, it's continuous front to back, no seams. One other thing we like about aluminum, it's a little bit cooler than the Galvalume roof, which is galvanized sheet steel that you would see on a lot of trailers. Of course, steel's going to absorb more of that heat than aluminum. Wall and floor on these are 16-inch on center. The wall posts, again, are tube. You can see every 4-foot panel. You've got 2 posts in between. On the rear door assembly, we'll show you it's a dual spring assembly, not a single. You also notice every 4-foot seam on the roofing material, they use a piece of flat. I've had some trade-ins over the years that did do a liner. Without that flat, they sag over time. Taking the time to do a lot of little details. Can't hardly see it here, but there's a grommet where the wiring comes out of the steel. A lot of little stuff they put on these that we don't see on a lot of the other model trailers. Let me show you 1 or 2 other things they do. Up front, they do a tubular header where most don't. The header up front there, the triple tube tongue, all comes together. It's made out of tube steel. A lot will make it out of formed. And then coming back the trailer here, these outriggers, the mainframe 7 foot, these outriggers out here made from tube, where most will make them out of formed steel like the floor. So a little bit heavier there. There's the D-ring. You'll see it's a three-sided reinforcement or gusset, where most in the industry just put a piece of flat steel. It's a lot nicer trailer all the way around. A lot of little details. A trailer like this is going to weigh in at about 3,600 pounds. It's a 9,900 GVW. It's going to give you a net legal payload mid-6s. With tongue weight, you're going to get mid to upper 7s. This is a 24 footer. We commonly stock this in a 16 and 20 foot as well. Pretty much all these we bring in at a 10,000 GVW. You can get some of these also in a 7,000, but generally if you're going to buy a quality unit like this, most are going to go with the heavier running gear. Other colors are available: silver, pewter, charcoal, and black. Also other optional colors available as well. Unit like this does have different options available, one of them extra height. If you have any questions, give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.